Hi, and welcome to another video of the targeted individual um, updates in terms of what has been going on in my targeted and my previous videos. I have other videos I recorded that I haven't put up yet, but I want to put this one up first, simply because what happened yesterday with them targeting me as I came back over by Pam House, which is I'm at right now, staying with the kids for another week. Um, but I don't think that's going to happen for the simple fact that uh, every time I come over here and let's say I stay a week with the kids because she's stressed out and she's not able to get up early, get my son in class on time. I'll get him to the babysitter so he can be uh, in class on time. A lot of times he has Chinese as his first class. He's either on his phone in the class, but he's on his phone because he can't use his laptop until he gets to the babysitter. So he gets there late. My daughter also on Fridays she has spelling tests. Tests every Friday, and she misses her spelling test. So they've been the kids have been really, really just you know, asking me and saying, "Daddy, I don't want to go back to the babysitter." Last week my son was like, "Daddy," because I was going to actually go home last week, but he was like, "Daddy, I got a test on Thursday, Chinese test and such and such." So, so I stayed. But the thing is, me staying here, when it comes to Pamela, she takes advantage. Me staying here towards the kids during the day means that, and I've told her this, means that she will do things to disrespect me and what I say. You know, for example, when I talk about, I said, listen, if I'm here with the kids, watching the kids, you want me to cook, you want me to clean, I said, I'm not doing that if you're going to want to disrespect me. Two, if you're going to go on dates, and she's like, oh, this is covert and this and that. I said, I'm like, listen, people will do what they want to do. They will find the time, and there are some days when she will come home, right? She'll say, "Oh, I'm working a little late, what have you," and she will come home if I'm here and just go straight to bed. She's like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired." For example, last night, she stayed up until after 3 o'clock, and I'm like, and kept me up, and I'm like, hey, don't you have work in the morning? And she's like, yeah, I know, what have you, and such. Today now, she texted me, then she called me. So I called her back, and immediately after I called her back, they started with the police siren. Whoop whoop, that's that sort of thing, right? Then on top of that, last week I figured out, and I always say to myself, um, because I say my ex, I've been speaking to my ex for like over a year now. We're just friends. She lives in Atlanta. Her husband had died, and she had reached out to me. Now I had reached out to her years ago, maybe in like 2008, 2009, something like that. And just sent her a Facebook friend request. And of course she denied it because she was married. And I said to her, I respect that. I said no big deal. Some, she was like, well, my husband was like, it's okay, y'all are Facebook friends. She was like, no, such and such, and what have you. I said, I respect that. I really respect you for respecting, excuse me, respecting your husband enough to, you know, because I am your ex, so I totally understand that. So anyway, her husband had died, and so she had reached out to me back on Facebook, and we just started communicating and stuff like that. And she has two daughters. She has three daughters, two by her husband, and one her husband from a previous relationship. And and it's because it's COVID, and you're dealing with girls, so a lot of emotions, a lot of stuff that's going on and stuff like that. So I try to help out in any way that I can. And again, because with this technology, they manipulate people. So including myself, including Pam, including her, including the kids, including family members, I've talked about this all already, right? And so last night, and actually, sorry, last night, like last week, So I've been communicating with my ex because again, me and Pam we're not into anything, and she doesn't, want to what have you. And I said, listen, I'm not going to be here playing house while you date people or while such and such. And, that's not going to happen, right? And she's like, oh, I'm not doing that. But again, I don't trust her for the simple fact that she's lied to me before, and I found out. And then again, she's very secretive. She's very, very secretive. For example, yesterday, uh, I'm in the living room with Ethan and Alyssa, and she goes up. She's like talking to Ethan, so she's whispering to him. So I said to her, I said, why are you whispering to Ethan? Because she's like, well, Ethan, I'll send you something, and apparently he's not able to open it. So I said to her, well, what did you send him that you need to be whispering? Oh, it's nothing. I'm like, well, what did you send him if it's nothing? Because obviously it's something because you're whispering it to him because you don't want me to hear. So and it happened to do with his schoolwork where one of his teachers said that he wasn't in class. Now the thing is, I've been here for 2 weeks now. My son has been in class every one of his classes every day because I'm there, so I know he's in his class, right? And there was an incident where he was in his class and his camera wasn't working, the webcam wasn't working because sometimes, uh, you know, he's on an AMD platform, and AMD has this issue going on where there's USB dropout, meaning that you have a USB device connected to the motherboard, an AM4 platform motherboard. Sometimes that device connected to it will be disconnected. Right, so they recently, I think, issued a fix for it, which I gotta go and update his BIOS on the motherboard so that or whatever whatever the fix is, go and update that, go and download and update it so they can fix that issue. And so he's talking to his friends saying, hey, and on top of that, his teacher blocked the chat so that way he couldn't even go on the chat to say, hey, my camera's not working, such and such, a blah blah blah, right? So he had to go on Discord to let his friends know, hey, tell the professor I'm here. My camera is not working, and the professor blocked the chat. And he sent me a screenshot of the whole conversation. I said, yeah. I said, this is what you need to do. You need to, whenever you're in class, you need to be taken, and something like this happened, you need to take a screenshot to let them know that, yeah, you tried reaching out to the professor because you even text your friend to let him know, and your friends let the professor know that you was in class, your camera wasn't working, but the professor blocked the chat and marked you as absent. Another professor, his teacher, so this is that BS. So now another teacher saying that, oh, he's not in class. Well, I know he's in class. I know he's in class because I'm right there. So anyway, um so last week now they were using my ex to, and I noticed that you know I whenever I feel like Pam is starting to give me some respect in terms of the way how she speaks, the way what she does, and such and such, my ex will be calling me all the time, right? She'll then when me and Pam get into a little tussle or a little argument, and I leave and we're not on good terms, I don't hear from her at all. So again, and that's my ex, right? I don't hear from her. She don't call me. But as soon as things start to move a little bit better between me and Pam, then she calls me. And again, I know it's the technology they're using, both using my ex as a honey trap or what have you. I wouldn't even say honey trap, but as someone who, because again, I'm in the position that I'm in, being the TI, and the being in a Coercive Persuasion Program where you're being where basically they're trying to destroy your life and try to control your life, right? And that and try to isolate you and try to tell you that you're going to be by yourself or what have you. You're not going to find somebody else or what have you. You're not going to have any type of relationship, or a friendship or intimate relationship. And so they use her as this tool that they think that they can use against me, right? So anyway, so like I said, so I know these things, and it's funny because I had um I had bought for Christmas. I had gave my ex a gift, and there was some boots that she said she like, I like these boots with the fur on the the ankle area or what have you. So Nordstrom Rack had a sale on boots, and I think I paid like $34 for this boost. So I sent it to her as a gift, Christmas gift, right? And so she was like, "Well, I don't really like it, and this and that." So I was like, "Well, I don't even know what you like, so what have you?" So that's that. And so she had sent me a picture of her wearing some shoes with uh, blue nail polish, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. So Pam went and got her nails and toes done with also blue nail polish. So I said, okay, well, again, when these things happen like that, it's not coincidence, because also when Pam has blue nail polish on, she's constantly, whenever she sees me, she's constantly looking down at her feet, right? Or she's wearing like black boots. She's constantly looking down at her feet. And I mentioned it to her a couple of times. I said, "Why do you assume my mouth is dry?" Hold on a sec. So I said to her, "Why are you always looking down at your feet?" I said, "Whenever you're in my presence." Then yesterday too, she had on a yellow shirt, and she came and she sat down and lived. And I always, whenever she wears certain colors, all of a sudden she wants to come and she wants to have a conversation with me. Okay. Any other time she's on her phone, right, for hours, hours. Yesterday she was on her phone for hours. My daughter had to get her hair washed. I ended up washing my daughter hair, right? And then she was mad at me because again I didn't comb it out properly. So I said to her, I said, "Listen, I'm doing you a favor. You've been on the phone all day. You've been on the phone all day. All of a sudden now at minutes to 10, you want to come and do her hair." And I said, "I washed her hair 2 hours ago, right? You didn't think about doing her hair." But the minute I told her to go and brush her teeth to get to bed, now all of a sudden you jumped up out of your bed and now you want to go and do her hair at minutes to 10 o'clock when she should be brushing her teeth and going to bed. And I said to her, I said, I'm like, then you want to get upset with me because, I didn't comb out her hair all the way properly. And I'm just like, look, I'm doing you a favor, okay? I'm doing you a favor. I don't know how to do my daughter hair. If I could do it, I would do it, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? But at least I said, okay, you know what? At least I can wash her hair. I can at least do that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is with Pamela, what she wants me to do, she wants me to do everything. All she wants to do is go to work, come home, sleep her ass off, right? I mean, she does cook, so I'll give her that, right? Come home, cook, go to see her ass up, be on the phone for hours. When she come home, she's like, "I'm so tired. I'm so tired." Then her friend will call her. She'll be on the phone till like 12 o'clock at night, right? Well, how are you tired if you're on the phone till 12 o'clock at night? There's something that I just don't understand. I said to her, "You've been doing this shit for years, and yet you can't figure out the reason why you're stressed a lot of the time. You want to blame me, but it's the other factors. It's the other factors that you're doing. Go to bed at a decent time. Last night, again, up until 3 something in the morning, right? Then she has to get up at 7:30 to get ready for work. But because she does that because I am here. Because I am here. So when I am here, that is when she's like, I'm just going to go back to my regular self, my old self, and do the same shit that I was doing before, you know, taking advantage of Nigel, right? So and I'm just like, okay, all right, Pamela. So we're back on this again, and again with the police involved in my targeting and how they have used her against me, and they've continued to do that, because like I said, Saturday, even yesterday, doing palm fixation drill every time she walks past me. Like yesterday, again, I put up a video on my way over here yesterday, for the almost the latter half of the day, sirens, noise campaign. Then it calmed down uh, last night for about 2 hours or so. No sirens, no car honking, nothing, right? And I'm gonna put the video up. I'm gonna put this one up first, but I'm gonna put the video up after, which was last night when all of a sudden I was taking a shower, and all of a sudden this car started honking, and it basically started. Uh, the alarm of the car started going off for about a good 3 hours during the night. 3 hours, okay? This car alarm keep going off, going off, going off, and it went off at when I was doing particular things, which again, when I post the video, you guys are gonna see, right? So yeah, so now I have to go and like I said, I'm not gonna. I probably end up leaving today, because again, when I see her start to exhibit certain patterns of behavior which she's done in the past, which I don't like, and which I've told her about, and then when they try to send me subliminal message saying that if I leave, I'm going to get arrested, because when I said to her I'm leaving, all of a sudden I'm hearing police sirens afterwards, right? Or what she'll do, she'll like walk if she walks to the living room, she'll look at the door and then put her hands behind her back and do a palm fixation drill towards me, right? Saying that, oh, if I leave, and the whole palm fixation drill thing is again, they use that as a means of saying that because look, like I said, I've talked about this, I masturbate and stuff like that, and so I realized that when after like if I would masturbate and I started afterwards, like after I finished, then and I go outside, uh, people will start doing those things, right? So again, it's the association that have been conditioned into my mind with these things, right? That's why they used in the beginning a lot of women when women would walk in front of me, they would put their hands behind their back with their palm open up. It was primarily women that was doing that shit, right? And then they had some men doing it because when they try to do the homosexual thing with me, what I'm saying, trying to condition me to become homosexual and hate women, that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So they're always trying to do things to undermine you. And they never, as a TI, they're never going to stop doing things to undermine you. To undermine your relationship, whether it be a friendship, whether it be an intimate relationship, whether you're married, right? Whether you're in a long-term relationship, long-term committed relationship, they will send other people to manipulate and to, um, you know, uh, uh, cause a rift in your relationship and get that person to you and that person to break up in the relationship, and then after a couple months, whereas your ex or what have you is dating this individual or these individual, a couple months down the line, that individual end up dumping them, right? Because they didn't really like them. They basically were they basically were sent to them as honey traps. Okay, they were sent to them as honey, whether it be male or woman, right? They are sent to them as honey traps to draw them away from you and to break up a relationship, your marriage, and then a few months down the line, they end up dumping them. Or, for example, let me give you an example. My brother, who's a TI, he'd been a TI before me, he was dating this young woman. They had a long term relationship, and because they were targeting him and using her to target him, they had a rift in their relationship. She ended up talking to somebody who they sent to again break up their relationship, right? That individual got her pregnant, right? Got her pregnant, okay? Dumped her, right? After he got her pregnant, dumped her, right? And then she came back to my brother talking about she wanted to have a relationship. So this is what they try to do. This is what they will do, right? They will do these things, and because they figure, well, we've conditioned this individual to make him understand and know that he's going to be or she going to be alone for the rest of their life. They're not going to have a relationship, so they can do this to their exes or to the person in relationship with, get them pregnant, get their ex pregnant or what have you, or the person that cheated and get pregnant, and then expect the TI to remain in that relationship, taking care of a child produced by infidelity in the relationship, right? Okay. Now it's fine if the person wants to go ahead and do that, but under the circumstances, if you're a TI, it would be a big hell no, and you should not do it. You should not do it. You should not do it at all, because again, they're trying to take away your humanity. They're trying to belittle you, disrespect you in all sorts of manner, and using the people around you to do it, whether willingly or unwillingly, and putting them and you in situations that are just not good, or very tumultuous. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Tumultuous, what have you, tumultuous, right? Difficult. Let me put it like that. Difficult, right? And expect you to like just deal with it, because you know what, I may not have sex again, or I may not have been in a relationship again. Then so what? So what? You have to have enough respect for yourself, and you have to know that you're a human being and you deserve respect. And the way that you're being treated as a TI is it's disrespectful, and also the people that are doing it don't see you as human beings. They don't see us as human beings. Okay, so therefore we cannot do that. And when they put you in relationships, and then they either with a narcissistic person, either be male or female, or they manipulate your significant other and yourself to end up becoming narcissistic, right? Or having certain narcissistic tendencies that you have developed because of your targeting, right? And what it is that you're doing. But if you're in a relationship with someone who is narcissistic, then let me tell you, it becomes a difficult thing. It becomes a very, very difficult thing, because what will happen is that um, they will constantly disrespect you. They will think that they're smarter than you. They will be very secretive when they're sneaking around and doing all this thing behind your back and lying to you and gaslighting you and telling you, oh, it's all in your head and you're crazy, right? But then when you go and you get the proof that's needed, all of a sudden they're like, well, you violated my privacy, right? But in the meantime, they had no problem gaslighting you, cheating on you when you ask them, and they're lying to you, and you know that they're lying, because again, they're targeting you and they're telling you exactly what it is that they're doing. They're using these what is called silent subliminal, right? So for example, right, last night I was sleeping on this side of the bed, right? Pam, you sleep on east side, because again my back hurts. Usually I sleep on the couch, but my back, especially here being with the kids, having to constantly clean and pick up stuff all the time, my back hurts. I'm on one side of the bed, she's on the other side of the bed. Last night she raised her phone so I can see, went into her messages, right? But it was a different app. It wasn't, because she has an iPhone, so it wasn't the regular iPhone app text app, right? It wasn't WhatsApp either. It was another one, and she basically like point towards it, right? Point towards it on her phone, and she didn't go into it now, and went back to the home screen, okay, and then put the phone down. And I'm like, why did she do that? But again, they do these things. They do these things. If for example, again, her constantly walking. She was in the kitchen cooking. Every time I walk by, she would turn towards the window. Right? She would turn towards the window and look out the window. Because again, these are things that they constantly do and constantly, manipulate her to do when I'm around. So, and again, trying to send me subliminal message that if I leave, like I left Saturday night, and I got on the bus at the 35 bus, and the bus driver was targeting me, because again, trying to get me to stay here so that I can be used and abused by this woman, okay, who they know I still care. I care for her deeply, because she's the mother of my kids, you know. But like I said, I've been at this point where I may care for somebody and I may love somebody, but I'm not going to let somebody to continue to abuse me, whether it be psychologically or any other way. Okay, because again, I'm a TI, and because they feel that, because they have the police out there, members of the police force out there, who are conspiring against me to destroy my life, to destroy my relationships with people, to make sure that I'm isolated. And then, right, for example, when I'm like, okay, I say in my mind again, then this is the way the remote new monitoring comes in. And I'm just like, you know what, I'm not going to be bothered with have you. I'm not going to be bothered with anybody, right? All of a sudden now they're trying to send me subliminal message, trying to send women my way, trying to, like, oh, we want you to talk to her and this and that. I'm like, no, I'm not talking to her. It's okay. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? And then recently what she started doing too is that, like, whenever I come in the house, right, for example, or what have you, or whatever, she touched my hand in some way, she will take her thumb, right, and press it against the inside palm of my hand. That's what she would do. So these are things that like I said, I constantly recognize and see, because again, when somebody is, let's say if I come and I give her a hug from behind, she will grab my hands, but she will take her thumb and place it on the inside of my palm, right, of my hands, and press down on it. right? This is what she she does, and this is what she's doing. And I'm just like, okay, you know, I was like, okay, this is new. This is new. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, wow, man, it's incredible. But yeah, like I said, once I had told the kids I'm going to stay with them for the week, but I'm going to have to let them know that, listen, I'm going to go home. I can't stay here because again, you know, the fact is that they're trying to make me stay here, watch our kids, which is fine, but I have stipulations, and I think anybody in my position would have that. Okay, because like I told her before, I said, you know what, I see when you take the kids to the babysitter, you know, you'll call to let the babysitter know, hey, I'm coming to pick up the kids, what have you. You're very punctual with your time, right? But when I'm here and I have to go home, it's like, oh, I got work to do, what have you. And let me tell you something. A lot of times, I don't believe she's doing work. A lot of times, I believe that she's going to dinner, what have you, because there were times, even during COVID, there were times she would come home and she would be, like, uh, and she like, oh my throat is such and such, and oh yeah, my throat is bothering me, and this, and I went, like I was going to send her this, and I told her, if I ain't gonna get into that, but I was like, listen, you need to be very careful. That's what I tell her. I said, you need to be very, very careful, all right, because again, these people will do all sorts of shit, and even though um, you may look at it as if they're helping you in somewhere, they're not helping you. Okay, they're not helping you. She was on her phone with her girlfriend Judy yesterday, and she, all of a sudden, she puts it on the speaker, and she was like, oh, when school starts back, we got to develop a plan to pick up our kids and this and that and this and that. And I'm like, I'm like, really? I'm like, this is the thing, and I'm glad Kevin Samuels. Thank goodness for that brother on YouTube when it comes to relationships. So that he's like, he recently did a show about how married women, right? Married women, right, will try to keep single black women single. And again, this is white supremacy, right? So a lot of them don't even know that they're doing it. Okay, a lot of them don't even know that they're doing it. And again, when it comes to married people, hang out with married people. If you're single and you want to get married, hang out with married people. If you're single and you want to be single, hang out with single people. If you're married and you want to be single, you hang out with single people, you will be single. You will be single because they will manipulate you into looking at your husband or your wife, if you're a man, in a negative light, causing you to do things and get divorced. This is how they use us to play against each other to keep us single and keep us apart. So I thank goodness for that brother Kevin Samuels on YouTube. He explains a lot, and I see it. I see it with Pam and her friends, because her friend Judy, married to a white guy, have biracial kids. I went to a, a a baby shower for her friend at her friend Judy's house. When I got there, there were people there talking about racism, so that. So I just chimed in, and I just started giving them facts, right? And because I started giving them facts, her friend got upset about it. She's like, I don't want to talk about this in my house, what have you. Now, remind you, these people were talking about this before I even came in there. Okay, but now I'm giving facts, and I'm giving it like raw, unapologetic, raw. And she's like, well, my kids is half white and this and that. I'm like, yeah, okay. Your kids is half white. Do you think white people go look at your kids and say they're half white? No, they're black. Okay? They're black. They ain't half white, nothing. They're black. And that's the problem with black people when they marry white people and they have children. They're like, oh, they kid, knowing that white people are never going to accept them as being white. They're black. Okay? And for all you biracial kids out there, adults out there thinking about you, oh, you white and this and that and this and that, you ain't white. Okay, you ain't white. In America, one drop of blood, I should say, not even black blood, but blood from a black person, you're black. You're classified as black. So regardless of how you may want to think of other, because you don't want to identify with your black side, say for people like that, I gotta say one thing. For people like you who do that, black people who are biracial, and they want to more identify with their white side, here's the reality check. You're black. Okay, don't care if your mother white, father black, white. As long as one person, one of your parents is black, they're black. It doesn't. It doesn't even matter if you have a white parent and the other parent is so called biracial. You still black. Okay. So again, I mean, it's like I said. I look at how these things work, right? And I look at, and as a TI, I start to analyze things at a broader spectrum, or look at things at a broader spectrum and deeper, and understand that what is being done to us, how it's been done to society as a whole, particularly when it comes to um, black people as well as white people, but the poor white people. Okay, and how these things are being done to cause division and separation, and understanding that white supremacy is the cause of all of this. Right? They've developed these technologies, they've created these psychological programs, they do all these things, right, in order to subjugate, control people who they feel as a threat and who they want to control. Okay, but you're not going to control me. All right. So that's it for now. I will see you guys in the next video.